Alex Albon is changing people's perceptions in 2025.
It was easy to dismiss me for my teammates. I think that was like an easy scapegoat to kind of say, well, he's doing well, but we don't really know how to quantify him. When James spoke to me early on about Carlos joining, I genuinely want to see how I stack up against a driver like Carlos. So I was confident in who I was, but I think I maybe have surprised some of the paddock.
Hi everyone, Tom Clarkson here, and welcome to F1 Beyond the Grid. This year, Alex Albon is facing his toughest teammate since Max Verstappen at Red Bull back in 2020. And so far, he's risen to the challenge impressively. But has he actually changed as a driver, or are we just taking more notice of him? Alex is typically candid in this chat, talking about what it's like having Carlos as a benchmark, how they compare to each other in terms of driving style and feedback, and whether their relationship would remain civil if they were fighting for a title. Alex also tells me about one of the big changes Williams made this season, based on Carlos's time at Ferrari, and how he finds his sweet spot in the car with something called sacred presence. Alex is his usual witty, charming self, and he paints a clear picture of his mindset ahead of 2026 and the dawning of a new era for Formula One. If it coincides with a new front-running era for Williams, could next year be Alex's moment to shine? Alex, great to see you. Thanks for your time. How are things?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I am good, and I've quite enjoyed this mini break leading up to Spa, I must say.
I would agree. I feel like it's been much needed. And honestly, I felt a bit tired after that first block. I feel like this new style that we do at the beginning of the season, where we go Japan a week off, the China a week off, that actually gets you on the back foot very quickly.
Well, it's 12 races in 17 weeks. That's what we've just done. So
yes.
I think you're not alone.
No, and I think the travelling back to the UK, at least for us, to do all the simulator work, your jet lag and your, what's the official word, circadian rhythm? Is that the technical word? It doesn't agree for a long time, and it really starts to get disturbed. And then by the time we get into Europe, it's calmed down. It's, at least for me. And it was nice these last 2 weeks just to be on the same time zone, sleeping well in my own bed.
Do you slow down when you have a break like this?
Massively, yeah. I think I'm totally off the throttle pedal. I've treated these 2 weeks almost like it's the summer break, trying to stay away from my phone. I know, for example, like my team, my engineering team, a lot of them have taken a week off, so we've all kind of stayed away from our phones and chilled out.
I was wondering if you might have opened a children's creche, because I saw the other day that James Vowles thinks you would be the worst babysitter of all the drivers on the grid. Whew. I thought it was harsh.
I think I would be the one that all the kids like. You know, like the fun uncle. That would be me. How much ice cream do you want? Go crazy. But yeah, I see it. I am quite irresponsible, but I think I would be a competitive dad at the same time.
I have absolutely no doubt that you would be the competitive dad.
Don't worry, I'll babysit James's kids free of charge. That's
the
service I do. I do it all.
It'll be in the next contract. Now, Alex, I wanted to talk to you first and foremost about this 2025 season. What a year it's turning out to be for you. You finished in the points 8 times in these opening 12 races. Given where Williams have been for the last few years, and as a result, you...
Yes.
How much are you enjoying this particular ride?
It's been a lot of fun. I've really felt like as a team, we've made a big step. It's been the biggest step when I think about 22 to 23 and so long. This jump from 24 to 25, the car's really taken not just a couple of tenths. Now we're talking a good half a second to a second, which puts us way further up the grid. It puts us actually in the beginning of the season to the top of the midfield and with some tracks, some space to the cars behind, which was fun. We had a few races where we were fighting the Ferraris, the Mercedes, overtaking them on track, which is... again, a lot of fun, and I hope we can keep going and have a few more of them races.
You talk about half a second. Where is that half a second? Is it corner entry? Is it a bit everywhere?
It's interesting because when we went on the simulator and we were driving the car, towards the end of last year and into the beginning of this year, there was lap time. Let's say it was your normal steps, that kind of 2/3 step that you get from the year before. And then when we hit the track in Silverstone on our shakedown day, it was like, oof, this feels quick. This feels good. And there's the reason why that it's more than kind of the quoted number is because there's a balance in the car now. We've been plagued with kind of the same balance problems year to year, high speed to low speed. So we've been balancing the extremes of oversteer and understeer, high speed oversteer, low speed understeer. This year it's far more together. And that just means everything starts to flow better. You can drive better. You're not limited on setup as much. So the car can be in a better window, corner to corner. And actually, when you look at the results of Williams this year, our biggest asset has actually been how consistent we've been in terms of being able to score points. You could argue that the times we haven't scored points have been DNF finishes. That's it, really. We have a car and we can go racing at every track, which we haven't been able to do from the moment I've joined the team.
And what does that do to confidence levels for you?
I wouldn't say I've got more confident or less confident. I would say my confidence level is the same. I think that when I'm driving, it all feels the same. I'm just fighting for positions further out the grid. But what I would say it does do is the culture and the energy in the team is different. We were often, a points finish was such a big deal to us now. I remember finishing the race in Silverstone and it was almost like, we only got P8. And it's like, wow, how quickly a year goes and how quickly we forget kind of our previous history, and it becomes the new norm. That's Formula One. I think you're always looking for the next step. And it's great, though. There's this positivity and this hunger within the team that we can always achieve more. And I don't think that was there when I first joined.
What's been the biggest lesson that Williams has learned during its years in the wilderness, do you think?
What I've seen is that the team have been able to come from, let's say, slightly old thinking and complacency within doing the same things and expecting things to get better. And suddenly the team shifted towards a far more dynamic, open-minded approach. I think James is a big part of that. And the willingness and the confidence within the team, that's changed a huge amount as well. And all these three things together really has just created this positive working environment.
So the team can try new things. What about you in the cockpit? I mean, do you start on a Friday and think, well, I tell you what, we'll do that with the setup and see where we end up?
I would say there is an element to that, but that's more due to having two experienced drivers. That's not so much a change in team ethic in terms of how we go racing. It's just that when we go into FP1s now with Carlos next to me, we explore. We kind of always explore, and then by the time we arrive to Saturday, we're kind of back into a very similar setup. So that helps definitely progress the team quicker. We get optimum setups quicker as well. I would say in previous times, I've most probably been the one leading a lot of the setup changes and ideas. And the team were reliant on my feedback, whereas now Carlos gives good feedback. I believe I give good feedback, and so we share that very evenly.
I feel we've seen your full armoury this year. We've seen you drive defensive races, Monaco.
Yeah, very defensive.
We've seen you do, aggressive races. We've had quiet races. You've sort of shown the world what you can do. Does it feel like that for you?
I think I do see what you mean, yes. I don't think I've changed anything. I just think I've been given a platform to showcase what I can do more than anything. So I think the noise outside of driving is very focused on driver results. And it looks like it's been a great year, and it has been a great year for myself. But the car has allowed me to get to that point. So when I think about the results that we've been able to achieve and different tracks scoring different points and good points, P5s, I just think it's such a team-based sport. There's this almost like wow, Alex is having a great season. And I would agree, but I would say that it's such a car and team thing. I feel like I've had great races last year, which never got talked about. because I was P18.
But a high tide raises all boats, doesn't it? And therefore,
It does.
Do you think with that confidence, you are a different... It feels you're a different driver. I look at Tamburello at Imola and
Yes.
the move you tried on Leclerc. I don't think, just having observed all 116 of your races, whatever it is, I'm not convinced that you would have tried that in the past.
I've
And
done even more desperate moves before.
Austria, okay. But
I know what you mean. I'm hungry this year. I feel like I've been able to showcase what I can do. I feel like I've always had an elbows out hungry mentality, and we're in the midfield. We're fighting. We're always fighting. I feel like I can go to every race knowing that there's a chance to score points, knowing there's a good results finish available to me. So in terms of that sense, the motivation is always strong. But as a driver, it sounds really boring to say, and I feel like maybe it goes against the general trend of where the story goes, let's say. I feel like I'm driving just as well as I have done, and it's seen as an amazing year. But I feel like my process is very consistent. I kind of go to every race, and I work on myself, and I will look at these little details, and that hasn't really changed.
that was going to be my next question. Have you changed your preparation in any way?
The biggest change, if you say from last year to this year, has been looking at data from Carlos. That's been the single biggest change. So we're always very close, and we're always learning from each other, and we're kind of just refining each other's driving styles, copying them, trying different setups, copying setups. But no, it's a very boring answer, I know. But no, it's just kind of within my own zone. I love to create a very small bubble, and together with Patrick, my
Patrick Harding?
Yes, my sports coach, and my manager, Jacques, who's right next to you, and then my psychologist and everyone around. It's kind of how do we maximize and exploit everything I can every weekend, and that's the drive, and it's very internal in that sense.
This episode is sponsored by SelectQuote. You've probably heard the phrase, the best offense is a good defense, 1,000,000 times while watching sport. Well, life's no different. You can't always predict what's coming, but you can make sure you're ready for whatever happens. That's why getting life insurance is one of the smartest things you can do to protect your future. But where do you start? Don't worry, SelectQuote takes the guesswork off your plate and handles it for you. For over 40 years, they've helped more than 2 million Americans understand their options and get the coverage they need. As a broker, SelectQuote's mission is simple: to find you the right insurance policy at the best price. One of their licensed agents will compare plans from trusted, top-rated insurers, tailoring recommendations to your lifestyle and budget, and they do it all for free. Some policies even offer same-day coverage for up to $2 million with no medical exam required. And if you have a pre-existing condition like high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, SelectQuote partners with companies that offer policies that will work for you too. They shop, you save. Life insurance is never cheaper than it is today. Get the right life insurance for you for less and save more than 50% at selectquote.com/beyondthegrid. Save more than 50% on life insurance at selectquote.com/beyondthegrid today to get started. That's selectquote.com/beyondthegrid.
Formula One is racing to be more sustainable. The sport is on track to meet its net zero by 2030 commitment by halving its carbon emissions. I'm Ellen Jones, Head of Environment, Social and Governance at Formula One. From 2018 to 2024, we've cut carbon emissions by 26%. We have done this by using renewable energy to help power F1 factories, offices, and events, moving the sport around the world using more efficient aircraft, investing in sustainable aviation fuel, biofuel trucks, and sea freight. We've also updated the calendar to reduce travel distances between races. The sport has come a long way, and we are going even further. Next year, every F1 car will be powered by advanced sustainable fuel, and we will make our logistics even more efficient to drive further emissions reductions.
What about your technical feedback? Have you learned from Carlos anything in that regard?
Yes, I would say that technically we're very similar. There's some technical things which Ferrari had that Carlos can bring to Williams, and it kind of opens the team's eyes as well as mine. I think when Carlos joined, there was an open notebook from the team to stay open-minded and see why Ferrari is a winning team and where they got their performance from. But also as a driver, I also had my notebook out, because for me it was interesting to see why was the Ferrari, how could Carlos drive it like that, and what did he want from the car, and where is the Williams limited compared to the Ferrari, and where are we strong compared to the Ferrari, things like that.
Is the engineering team the same? I mean, I heard that is there now a driver coach at Williams, for example?
Yeah, you've done your research. There is. There's a
that's a new for
that's
25.
a new thing. So for example, Ferrari had a driver coach, and I think they had a driver coach each, Charles and Carlos, last year. So we adopted that. I would say I'm still in my kind of discovery phase, because I haven't had one in a long time.
How does the driver coach vary from the performance engineer?
Some teams do it differently. Some teams have their performance engineer is also kind of a driver coach. They kind of do both. Us, it's a little bit more split up. So what the driver coach will do is he's purely on lines, driving styles, compromises. So for example, Suzuka Sector 1, where placing the car and things like that. He can help in terms of wind changes, and if you get a snap, he can be very quick on responding to these kind of things. Whereas the performance engineer is looking kind of more about optimizing the balance of the car. So that's more around like, okay, you have this snap of oversteer. Here, try this on the car. So you could imagine that actually having two parts of information, if you have a corner, let's make it really simple. Magus Beckett's at Silverstone, you might be consistently slow in one corner, the final right-hander before you go onto the back straight. And then the driver coach will tell you, okay, I think you need to compromise turn 12 a little bit more, turn in a little bit later to turn 12, open up turn 13 a little bit more. And the reason why you're getting the snap mid-corner is because you're asking too much of the car in turn 13, and you need to bring it back a bit. And then the performance engineer will actually say, try these tools on the car. This is going to lock up the differential a little bit more. It's going to stop the snap. And then you can have both. You can attack it in both ways, and you can kind of choose, do both, do one kind of thing, and go about it in different ways.
Have you found it useful?
I have. I've seen the benefits from it for sure. It's almost like as a driver, you have so much information coming at you. You have to be really selective with what you pick and choose, because sometimes it can just be information overload. It's a lot about communication. It's useful to a point, but then at the end of the day, you still got to just drive the thing and feel the car and know what you need to do to deliver the lap time. So you cherry pick what comes through.
On the topic of Carlos, you've gone from being the de facto number one driver. You've talked about how the team looked to you in the past for a lead from an engineering point of view. You can now share the load. Do you see the benefits of that? Or do you like being an equal number one? Would you rather be the de facto?
No, I enjoy it. I think firstly it's healthy competition. As a general point of view, we're pushing each other every session that we go out on. In terms of developing the car and the team, what's good about us two, I believe, is that we're very aligned in terms of feedback. So we like the same kind of things in the car. And then as a result, when we start developing next year's car, for example, a lot of the discussions and meetings that we speak about, and we speak to the various heads of in different departments, we're kind of looking for the same things. So I said it already about weekends, how we split out different objectives starting the weekend. We're already doing things even in this year's car that hopefully will help next year's car as well. And we're just trying different concepts. So that helps as well. And what you don't as well see is all the work that we're doing in the simulator. So there's a huge amount of work that we do there where we're kind of, it's almost like one day I'll do my work. Carlos will kind of take what I've done and then go the next day and do his work. And we kind of just, it's like...
you can build.
It's Jenga. That's what it is.
Don't take anything away.
Exactly. Infinite Jenga.
When you look at his data,
Yes.
is there anything that surprises you about him?
Not to say it in a bad way, but no. I think we're very similar. We have our styles, that's for sure. Nothing he does, I can't replicate, and I'm sure he would say the same. Nothing I do, he can't replicate, and it's just about kind of optimizing each other. I think we have general weaknesses and strengths.
Do they complement each other? Like, is one of you really good through fast corners, the other better through slow corners? So between you,
yes,
you can learn.
Yeah, exactly that. So I think this happens with most teammates. Qualifying just comes to whoever executes it the best.
What do you think surprises him about you?
I don't know. You'd have to get a Carlos Sainz beyond the grid episode.
Have you talked about it?
No, not so much. I think we know each other's styles quite well. I think the main differences that we've had are that I have a driving style that I kind of just drive around some of the car limitations. I think that's come from a lot of years of driving the Williams car and accepting it. So, okay, well, this is what I got, and we're going into qualifying now, so we just got to get on with it. And I think Carlos is more along the, I want to drive like this, and you guys have got to give me this. But in the same context, we're still talking about the same things. I would say that's the nuance between us, but not so much in terms of it.
Isn't that interesting, though, how you've just had to settle before with what you've got, whereas I suppose those years at Ferrari have taught him that you can still make it better.
Exactly. I liken it very similar to my time at Red Bull. So when I came from Red Bull to Williams, I had a Christmas list that was extremely long, and it was like, guys, we need to do this and this and this and this to get better. This is why the Red Bull is quick here and here and here and here. And Carlos is in that phase of this is where we need to improve. And I guess in many ways I know, but I don't know. I know where I think the car is weak. And you could imagine if Carlos arrives to Bahrain and he'll say, we're weak in turn 8 because I remember last year at Ferrari I could do this. And in Williams we cannot do this. So it's almost like a point blank. That's the recipe. But we can't fix it. A lot of these issues are baked into the car. So that's where the development cycle happens. And what's good is that nothing he's saying now is nothing I've not been saying the last 3 years. We kind of have the same comments about it.
Alex, it's interesting, isn't it? Everyone talks about, Carlos is coming with this Ferrari experience. A lot of people forgetting that you have actually been at Red Bull Racing when, when they were really, really good.
Yeah.
And that experience must stand you in good stead even now, a few years later.
I think it's really helped me, yes. I don't think at the time I was experienced enough to soak it all in. I learned a lot from it, but I kind of came into that so inexperienced at the time. I was kind of more just gathering my feet and just going for it. I had that year away where I could reflect and think about, okay, now I have a year out. How can I get better as a racing driver? And where was, particularly Max, where was he strong and where can I learn from? I think the years at Red Bull helped a lot. I think the year away from the sport helped a lot on top of that. And then when I got back into Williams, I was in a good place.
How did the year away help you? I mean, you were doing the DTM, you were doing a bit of racing, quite a lot of sim for Red Bull as well.
The biggest thing for me was I developed a much better mechanical engineering idea of what makes sense. For example, when you're at a race weekend and you're a rookie and you're kind of trying to learn how to go quickly, you're not really thinking about setup. You're more just looking at the data and going, I need to brake later here, I need to carry this kind of speed, or these kind of things. Very, I don't want to say basic things, but they're important things as you're a rookie and you're learning, how do I use the tires correctly? How do I save the tires correctly in or in the race? How do I use the tires correctly in qualifying? These kind of things. And then once you gain that brain space and all that kind of stuff is natural and you're comfortable with the car and whatnot, you can then start to understand, okay, well, what's my driving style? How can I maximize the car around my driving style? What do I need as a driver personally to get the best out of the car? What is a quick car? What kind of balance do I need at these kind of tracks? What's the trade-offs between a stiff car and a soft car? How can I experiment with tire warm-up procedures, outlaps, things like this? So you're your envelope to maximize the performance of the car just grows and grows and grows, and that's
and getting off the treadmill of races helped you do that.
I think you see it as a rookie. You're kind of on a hamster wheel a little bit. You're kind of just so in it. Everything's a blur. You take a year out, everything slows down again, and then when you come back into it, you're kind of a lot more in control, and you know your weaknesses. You know what areas you don't like. You know how you don't like the car. Okay, well, I can work around these parameters and kind of go and kind of just chip away at it and refine it.
While we're talking Red Bull, as an aside, interesting that here at Williams, you've been through a change of team principal and how a team reacts to that.
Yes.
I mean, what was it like when you think of pre-James and post-James?
Yeah.
They're going through that now with Laurent Mekies.
Yeah, it's strange to me that I was there kind of pre-James, but at least on our side, there's such a huge support structure around Formula One teams now. There's such a massive group of people involved. I really like Jost and his group, and when they left, James seemed to come through pretty seamlessly, to be honest with you. He kind of just got straight into business, and he knew what areas the team needed to work on and just got through very quickly. There was not, I don't know, the teams are pretty well oiled now, where there wasn't that much of a gap.
And there's a lot of momentum. A team like Red Bull's going to have so much momentum. It's going to be like a juggernaut heading in one direction. It takes a lot to turn it around, doesn't it?
Yes, it is interesting. It is interesting. I'm interested to know where these next few years go. I think the driver market as well, as a consequence, is going to be very interesting.
This episode is sponsored by Caldera Lab. Most skincare out there isn't usually made for guys, and if it is, it's often overcomplicated or just not that great in my experience. That's why I'm glad I found Caldera Lab. They've redefined men's skincare by combining advanced science with high-quality, non-toxic ingredients to create a simple, effective routine that actually works. I've been using their products for a while now, and what I like most is how fresh my skin looks afterwards with such little effort. You just need to know when to use them. After cleansing, just kick off your mornings with the base layer, a moisturiser that gives a smooth, matte finish. There's zero shine, just healthy looking skin in an instant. It's like magic and my favourite part of the routine. At night you need something light and fast absorbing, and that's where their award-winning serum, The Good, gets to work, giving your skin a boost while you sleep. They've also got the Eye Serum, which helps reduce puffiness and dark circles. A little of that every day goes a long way, especially when I'm in the middle of a triple header on the calendar, as I'm sure you can imagine. And it's not just me that loves Caldera Lab products. In a recent study, 100% of men said their skin looked healthier, and over 93% felt they looked more youthful after using their products regularly. Whether you're starting fresh or upgrading your routine, Caldera Lab makes skincare simple and effective. Don't settle for drugstore junk or steal your partner's products. Elevate your routine with skincare made for you. Head to calderalab.com/grid and use the code GRID at checkout for 20% off your first order. Your qualifying head-to-head against Carlos is 7-5 in your favour. It's 2-0 in the sprints as well. You're 33 points ahead of him in the Drivers' Championship. Do you think your record against him has changed people's perception of you? And I'm talking about the paddock's perception.
Yes, I do. I do think it's changed. I think that it was easy to dismiss me for my teammates. I think that was like an easy scapegoat to kind of say, well, he's doing well, but we don't really know how to quantify him as a driver. And I think when James spoke to me early on about Carlos joining, I was in two positive mindsets. The first one was he's going to be a huge asset to the team with all his experience and him being a quick driver. The second was I feel like he's a credible reference that I can go into, and I genuinely want to see how I stack up against a driver like Carlos. So maybe in many senses, I was confident in who I was, but I think I may be have surprised some of the paddock. I don't think necessarily the people that know were surprised. This sounds a bit arrogant saying this, but internally in Williams or the ones that I've driven for in the past. But yeah, I'm glad with how I've been performing this year.
Do you think there's more interest in you now from other teams?
Speak to Jack, speak to my manager. Not to
red hot. The phone's been red hot. How many more years have you got on the Williams contract?
I can't say that either. I love the story of Williams. I think we're definitely in the right position, and I'm not looking around. I'm convinced in the project. I love being here, and I think James and the board are doing a fantastic job. So I do mean that, and I think just looking at the previous results, there's no reason why I need to look around. I'm very happy with where I am.
You've got a desire to see this project through. You've been there at the bottom of the trough, haven't you? You now need to...
It's many ways a part of why I'm so intrigued to stay and see where this project comes to, because I feel like I've been a part of... I'm not day one, definitely not day one, but I feel like I'm day two, day three. So it's been great to see it and feel it and hope to think that I've been a part of it.
And like the senior management here, do you think it's all about 2026? Would you sacrifice points in the second half of this season if you get payback next year?
Yes, I look at it in a different scale. I look at it like, is there anything that we can do to this year's car, whether it's understanding the characteristics better or improving the characteristics that's going to help next year's car? So I don't mind this year. I don't think this year can ever be sacrificed completely, because there's still learnings to do on this year's car that can feed next year's car.
Because you were calling for upgrades after Silverstone.
Yes, and we still have some characteristics we want to understand and improve. And you can't just do that from nothing. You can't just develop a car in 2026 that doesn't have any flaws in it. And so we know there's genetic issues with the car that we have. There's philosophies that we can't shake off. And so we can experiment with this year's car because there are things, we have the same people building the same cars year in, year out. So if we don't get on top of them, they're still going to be there next year. Even in the world of a new car, it's amazing how cars keep their DNA even though the regulations change.
How involved have you been in the 26 car? Have you driven it on the simulator yet?
Yes, I've been very involved. Carlos and I have both been very involved because we want to make sure we hammer home some of the key things we want in the car. The simulator program has started about a month ago. And
what are your first impressions? Charles Leclerc in Austria arrived in the press conference and he'd just been on the sim, and he wasn't overly complimentary, saying, but it is early days. Are the cars going to feel very different to drive?
Firstly, it's interesting. I wonder what car he drove. I wonder if he drove the car that's currently in the wind tunnel, or is he driving the car that is hitting race one? Because there's a big difference. The rate of speed at which teams are adding downforce is very quick.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you already at race one iteration here?
You can estimate where race one's going to be. And so you kind of get a bit of an idea. You can do it both ways. Some teams will track it. So you're basically driving the car that's being made currently, and then you're just following the progress and making sure that...
And is the rate of development, is it linear at the minute?
It's never linear. You will get these big spikes as we unlock certain traits that we're happy with, characteristics that we're happy with.
Do you think 26 could be your year?
I don't think it will be our golden year. I think it will be a better year. I'm hoping it's a better year than this year. This year's already been a great year, but I would say our true years are still in front of us. The team is still fairly young, and we're still employing. And you look at you're here at the factory now. You can see there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. The whole building's changed, I'm sure, a lot since you've last been here. That's Williams. We're still growing. I think we haven't reached our full potential yet.
Can we imagine for a moment that you and Carlos Sainz are doing what McLaren's doing right now? It's an intra-team battle between the two of you.
How old are we?
I'm thinking 26, but you're obviously... No, I was in 2026.
Okay.
I know you're 29, but... Okay, 1 year,
Mid-40s.
2 years, 3 years down the road, whatever it is.
Yes.
How do you think it would play out? Do you think you two would keep a lid on it? Or do you reckon the competitive juices would boil over?
I think we're competitive, yeah. I think Lando and Oscar are doing the team are doing a very good job at managing that situation. I don't believe there'll be fireworks.
But between Oscar and Lando?
Between Carlos and I. But there's fire. for sure.
The fire's already lit.
The fire's lit, but there's no fireworks.
I mean, like when you two play paddle, tennis,
Yes.
golf,
Yes.
all very civil, or does it really rank?
I think in them senses, I'm not actually that competitive.
Really?
Yeah. I am competitive for sure, but I've learned to not be, because if I'm too competitive, I don't enjoy it. Like if I'm in paddle or especially golf, if I get frustrated
But
playing golf,
golf's an outlier, right? The harder you try with golf, the worse it gets.
I think that applies to anything though.
Does that apply to driving?
It applies
Race
to driving as well, yeah. At least it does to me. The more you want it, the more you're tense, the more it doesn't work. You've got to kind of relax into it.
So if you're playing tennis against Carlos Sainz
Yes.
and he beats you,
I think he would, to be honest with you. Tennis, he's quite good at. He's good at all that.
he's got good hand-eye, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he grew up on I don't know. I think there was a tennis court nearby. Yeah.
I'm actually genuinely intrigued as to how...
Let's do golf, because we are golfers.
Let's do golf then.
Yeah.
But I think you've already told me in the past he's a better golfer than you.
Last time we played, I would like to say I beat him.
Or did you or didn't you?
I did. He was using...
What handicap
He
were
was
you on?
using like 3 balls a shot. That's
What?
not allowed. He was telling me he was having to practice for a friend's tournament later in a couple of days, and I said to him that, well, we can't compete then.
Well, hang on,
because
which ball did he actually count? Which ball counted? His first shot?
whatever was the best one.
Well, hang on. Carlos Sainz, where are you? We need you in here. We need to settle this right now.
We are competitive. I'm very competitive. I think in the race car, I manage it, like I said, and I found my sweet spot. But I mean, I'm here to win.
Have you got to a point where you can dial in and reproduce the mindset that you need to be quick? In terms of, every sports person suffers from form, right? Some
Yeah.
days are better than others.
Sure.
Have you worked out over your 100-odd races how to get in the right zone?
No, it's a
Fernando
good
Alonso
question.
tells me that he knows
Yeah.
from the moment he opens his curtains in the morning whether he's going to have a good day or a bad day. He's said that to me. Are you like that?
I wish I was. Is it just the way he sleeps? How does he know?
It's obviously a deep inner feeling, isn't it?
That's very true. But then if you feel bad in the morning, have you already said no to the weekend? Have you already said no to the race? I would say that's where I've put most of my effort. Year to year to year, it's been about what's my sweet spot and how do I get as close to that sweet spot as possible. I think that no person can go into every weekend and be saying, that's it, I'm in my zone, I'm in my place. Sometimes you might get to a place where you're very close to that, and that's when you feel like you're performing well. There's many weekends where you're not there, and you could be over it, under it, in terms of it's almost your it's a weird word, but it's almost like your arousal level, your intensity towards your race, and how you want to, your focus and your adrenaline.
In a sporting context, arousal level is a commonly used term, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And you're just
Not being too
not
high,
being too high, not being too
low.
low, and you're bordering that tightrope, but you're not stressed about being above it or below it. You're just trying to make sure you're in that band. Being close to 100% is good enough. Being 95% is good enough. And having tactics and strategy around keeping into that zone as much as consistently as possible. That's the kind of the art to it, let's say.
And do you have the same routine over a
Yes.
weekend to try and reproduce that?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
get up at the same time,
Eat
eat the same things.
I would say not totally as that way, but my mental approach to it. So more around like the timing that I give myself before I get in the car, my warm up, and I like to visualize the track before I drive the car. All these kind of things, I keep it like a routine, almost like a checkbox, and kind of, tap into myself and check in and feel how I am, and then go about executing. But yes.
The visualization is interesting because Andrea Stella, team principal of McLaren, says these cars are too quick for the driver to think in. It all has to be instinctive. So does that visualization before you leave the pit lane, does that help?
Yes. I wouldn't say they're too quick to think in. I think the best drivers in the world have the capacity that it's always slow. The more mental capacity you have to drive, you can think about other things and maximize the corner, the lap, the tyres, whatever it is. I think consistently the best drivers in the world are the ones that have the most think time, the most brain capacity. You think about Max looking at the TV as he's going past. You look at Fernando thinking about strategy 15 laps in front of him.
And Alex
They're
Albon?
the trademarks. I'm a little bit yappy on the radio.
We've heard of it.
But I would say I have a high capacity to think and to know what I need to do. I think I've had a few races, especially mixed conditions. I believe that's my sweet spot because I'm good at kind of choosing my moments and having good races. But yeah.
You mentioned Paddy Harding, your physio, earlier on. And
yes.
He said something to me once. He talked about sacred presence. Does he talk about that to you? Do you know what he means by that?
Yes. Yeah, at least to me, I know what that means to me. I think presence in general is part of this finding your space. And to me, this is kind of what maybe Andrea is touching upon, is that you need to be 100% present when you're driving a race car. In general, you want to be present, but when I specifically take the racing in context, if you're not comfortable with the car, which I think is a really big thing, I think that's like honestly why I struggled at Red Bull. I think I've touched upon this before. But if you are thinking about a car that you're not confident in and you're not totally at one with it, your mind can't be present. You are going through a corner and everything's right there in the back of your throat. You're tense. Everything's feeling difficult. You're overstimulated in terms of your mind. You have a snap in the corner. You think, oh, why did I get that snap? Or are the tires ready? Was that a wind gust? You got half a second to your next corner. At the speeds we're doing, you have to be the next step. You need to be that kind of present forward feeling where it's everything's in front of you, and it's like a checklist. Boom, boom, boom. You know exactly what you're getting. You know what you're doing in the next corner. Whenever there's that noise, that's when you're not present. You're feeling behind. That's what you're aiming for. It doesn't always happen, and you have to accept that it doesn't always happen. And then it's about getting yourself back.
This episode is sponsored by Shopify. If you've shopped online, chances are you've bought from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses use it, because Shopify makes it so simple to start and run your business. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from major names like Mattel and Gymshark to small brands just getting started. It's the go-to platform for millions of businesses worldwide. And what's great about Shopify is that it gives you a leg up from day one. You can build your storefront using hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates, and there's zero coding required. Plus, you can manage everything in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics. And when it comes to marketing, Shopify has you covered there as well, with its inbuilt marketing and emails tools designed to help you spread the word about your brand. Oh, and that iconic purple Shop Pay button. It's not just popular, it's the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see fewer carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/beyondthegrid. Go to shopify.com/beyondthegrid. Shopify.com/beyondthegrid. There'll be more from Alex in a moment, but I wanted to let you know about the other official F1 podcasts you can listen to this week. F1 Nation's preview of the Belgian Grand Prix is out now. Former Renault driver Jolyon Palmer joins me to discuss a new era for Red Bull, with new team principal Laurent Mekies taking charge for the first time, and whether Ferrari's new rear suspension will be a turning point in their season. And the latest episode of F1 Explains is Ask an F1 Driver Special with Esteban Ocon. Both of those shows are out now. Just search for F1 Nation and F1 Explains on your podcast app. Can I just ask you about Lando Norris and George Russell, in that you joined Formula One with them, You know them very well from the junior formulas. Just, do you take some kind of inspiration from the fact that Lando is now challenging for the World Championship? George, when he's not being held up by you in Monaco, is
or cutting chicane.
Yeah, exactly. He's winning races in the moat. Do you take some kind of confidence from the jobs they've been doing?
I think they're both super talented. I don't take confidence in what they do. I'm very selfish. Take confidence in what I do. I feel like I established myself, rightly or wrongly, before I got to F1. And maybe...
I think that's my point, is that you race them and beat them in the junior formulas.
Yeah.
They're now winning in Formula One. Your time will come.
Yeah, and I believe it will. I think time will tell, but I think it's amazing to see now we're all in our 5th or 6th year in F1. We all seem to be now in our comfort teams. We're all in our places, and now we joined. Some of us were the back of the grid, and now we've worked our way up, and now we're not even the youngest drivers anymore. I think I'm like the 5th or 6th oldest driver on the grid.
You're an old boy. You're 29.
It's ridiculous. It's terrible. The thing is,
you're about to hit your peak. Jackie Stewart always believed that racing drivers are at their peak at 30.
I better tell James Vowles that contract's coming up.
It's all about 26 for you, right? Look,
all in on 26.
Alex, it's been such a wonderful chat. I love chatting to you. Just let's throw it forward, just to end it.
Yes. Goals
For the remainder of this year, first of all. Does it matter to you whether the team finishes P5 or P6 in the constructors?
I'd almost question it back and ask the team that. Does it matter to you? To me personally, no. I just want the team to be in as strong of a position in 26 as possible. If it means we're 5th or 6th and we've learned something from this year, like I said, we have an upgrade on the car, it's directionally correct, and we're going to use that philosophy into next year, and it's maybe helped us get 5th in the constructors. It's not the position that really I don't think I care about, and I think the team are in the same boat as me. It's as long as we're going forwards. 2024 is a good example of that. Results base wise, terrible compared to 2023, but it was clear to myself and to the team that we actually made a step forwards in terms of where the car needs to go. We bounced back and we went stronger in 2025. As long as we're moving forwards, that's all I care about.
And your own position in the Drivers' Championship, what are you, P8 now?
P8, yeah.
Is there a certain number of points you want to have scored by season's end, or again, is it all about 26?
No, I don't mind. It's good for my bank account, but I don't mind. Yeah, I mean, P8's nice. It's almost the best of the rest, which sports day, that's a little sticker, but it would mean a little bit to me. I think it's nice to know that as a team we've been able to nip at the heels of the top teams.
And the guy paying the points bonus, James Vowles, has he continued to help you improve?
Yeah,
is the relationship between you and him just getting stronger and stronger?
Yes, I would say it's not actually about the racing that he advises me on it. A lot of it's around how can I help him, or in what way, in what capacity can I improve the team. So really becoming that team leader, and James is very intellectual. He's got a lot of respect within the company in a very short amount of time. And taking me along that journey and kind of getting me in that sense, how do I say it? Just in a way, kind of mentoring the journey that we're on, and making sure that we're in this and we're communicating it at the same pace, at the same level throughout the whole factory.
He's always been very good with drivers. He focused on the young driver program in his latter years at Mercedes. Of course, he's got the young driver program here at Williams,
yep,
going from strength to strength. Does it feel like you're talking to another driver?
For the ones that don't know, James has driven a variety of cars as well. So he's driven GT3s, and it's nice because there are conversations that we have that don't necessarily revolve around performance. For example, confidence and the ability to push the car and get the feeling that you want in the car. These are things which I think even Lando, you could take as the latest example, that he's feeling more comfortable in the car recently and the performances come up. These things, sometimes the lap times don't really match the performance numbers that's been given. That's where I think James is actually it really benefits him having that experience, because you can have conversations around it on a very driver level, which the work we do in the deal and everything and the development of the car, these key touch points go a long way, and you get lap time for relatively cheap, actually. They can be little things which go a long way.
Alex, thank you so much. Can I just end this what I call the traditional way now?
Please. This is new. I don't know what this is.
Formula One is 75 years old. I'm asking everybody on the pod this.
Yes.
75 years old. What is your favourite moment in the sport's history?
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be something like, where do you see yourself when you turn 75?
Still racing.
Yes. My strongest memory is going to Silverstone for the first time. And Michael Schumacher won the race. Barrichello started last for some reason. He finished second. And Montoya finished third. Possibly 2002 then. My dad took me. That was my first ever Formula One race that I went to. And a moment I'll never forget. I remember it very strongly.
Where did you watch?
We had to watch it in hospitality because we didn't have grandstand tickets. I had to watch it on TV. We were part of this, I don't know what it was, this hospitality, and the track at the time had a competition. You had to write who would finish in the top three, and the winner of this competition got a signed cap and signed track map from Rubens, Michael, Ross Brawn, and Jean Todt. And out of everyone, I was one in 4 or 5 people to guess it right. And then out of them 4 or 5 people, you had to guess their lap time, their fastest lap in the race. My dad did that bit for me. And I went on stage. Back then it was like the Silverstone fan stage to collect my my awards. So yeah, I still have it to this day.
That's an amazing story. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Well, just before you go, 1, 2, 3 at Spa this weekend? No joke.
Well, I can hope for some rain, and you never know.
Alex, wonderful to speak to you again.
Thank
you very much for your time.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was Silverstone 2002 when Rubens stalled at the start, dropped to the back of the grid and charged through the field to finish behind Schumacher. What a first F1 race to witness, Alex. And what an interesting conversation that was. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Alex is a deep thinker and always has interesting things to say. I learn from him, and this chat was no different. Whether it was his take on using a driver coach, or his learnings from Carlos Sainz, or his thoughts on 2026, all of it was interesting. If Williams give Alex a car capable of winning in 2026, there is no doubt in my mind that he'll deliver. Alex, thanks for your time. It was great to chat, and good luck for the remainder of this season. Well, that's almost it for this episode. Thank you as ever for listening. And I will, of course, be back next week with another great guest from the world of Formula One. F1 Beyond the Grid is produced by Formula One and Audio Boom Studios. Until next time, keep it flat out.